welcome back to CNC Auto Works. If you're new here, thanks for stopping by. I'd like to take a second and thank everybody that's been subscribing and supporting us. We really appreciate that. We can't thank you enough. We're going to jump into today's video. If y'all been following the Mach1 build, you know our test drive, we had a couple issues after getting the engine back in. One of the issues was we had a little valve float at wide open throttle. Well, we had installed a Transgo shift kit in this thing, and it came with 4 high rev governors. And in typical CNC fashion, we kind of shot for the moon. We had put the highest rev one in there, and it kind of bit us. It wouldn't shift out before it would float the valves. We're running a flat tappet cam. Anybody that's ever ran a flat tappet cam kind of knows you got to be careful with your valve spring pressures, or you'll wipe the lobes off of a cam. The springs that were actually on the car when we pulled the engine were really conservative, and we stepped it up to what we considered, you know, borderline safe when we put this thing back together. So we definitely don't want to put any harder springs in it, so we went ahead and changed that high rev governor out already to kind of bring it back down to where that thing will shift without floating the valves in this thing. And the other issue we was having is about 8th throttle. It was kind of breaking up a little bit. 8th throttle to 3/8 throttle, it was breaking up. And I think we got it narrowed down to we got a small vacuum leak, and the bottom of the intake ports didn't seal, and it's sucking the oil out of the lifter valley. So we're going to pull this intake off, and we got a set of Felpro gaskets here that we're going to put in there. We've actually got a pan. It's some kind of lifter valley pan that they used back in the day. I think even Mopar used them. I don't know if Chevrolet ever used them or not, but I really don't know what that pan's for. We're going to go ahead and just put it back together, get rid of the pan, put it back together like you would a small block Chevrolet, so we ain't got to worry about any more intake manifold leaks. And hopefully this will be the last of our bugs. But just like anything, when you're trying something new and you're making that many changes, there's always bugs to work out. There's always gremlins that rear their ugly little heads, and you got to get it all worked out and make it all start syncing back together. And that's the process we're doing now. Once we get this thing off of here, I'll show you more on that pan that we're talking about that just ain't quite wanting to seal. And I could be wrong, but I think that's what we got it narrowed down to. Actually, the valley pan that I'm talking about, you can already see a little oil in there. You can kind of see them down in the ports. It's kind of hard to get these Clevelands with the 4V heads to seal, because the ports are so big, there's not much meat at the bottom. So it's a little tougher to get them to seal. But if there's anyone out there that really knows what these pans are really for, I would like to know, because these things have caused me more pain and frustration and work than I care to admit. We've had kind of the same problem on a 460. That's why we kind of knew what was going on and what to look for. But we're going to get this thing pulled off of here, and we're just going to install this thing back like you would a small block Chevrolet. Got her all buttoned back up. I'm going to fire it up and see if we got the issue fixed. Maybe a little fuel pump that could. retighten the intake bolt. And then we're gonna take this thing for a test drive and make sure we got it all fixed up. Hit it. Yeah, that feels a lot better. What's it shifting at now?
55, 56, 55 at the second, and then 50, or 50, 56 the second, and 55 on the third.
Not bad. So the governor changing 500 plus RPM. Well, everyone, there you have it. Test drive went good. No more valve float. We got the shift changed by about 400 to 500 RPMs lower. This thing moves along pretty good. It probably hasn't ever ran like that. I think we're still having a little issue with carburetor. Need to tune it a little more, but there's nothing to that. I want to thank everybody for watching. Until next time, we'll catch you guys later.